there is a shared view of the nature of our student population.
It's a wide variety.
Their ideas in terms of races, in terms of their backgrounds, in terms of age.
I find the shift in demographics to be very, very interesting and much richer in terms of the classroom environment.
I have a student who's been out for 15, 20 years. He's been taking care of his mom and now wants to be a chef. And I have a woman in her mid-50s who after a long life doing other things, wants to be an investigative journalist.
I've had students carry dolls to class. I've had students who went by aliases.
Which makes it very interesting.
The big challenge of that sort of diversity of all these different backgrounds is that our students tend to have many identities other than student. They are not reserving these 2 years of their lives for the sake of education. There are lots of other things going on for them.
There's such a disparity between abilities that, like I said, well, I'll have students who can't write a sentence, whereas I'll have students in the same class who can write an essay.
You can never put them in a box. They're just, their stories, their needs, their passions are just very stimulating and interesting.
But the fact is, valuing diversity means responding to many different types of needs.
Student success over time has evolved in such a way that we always are looking at how responsive we are. Also looking at, are we meeting and supporting the needs of all of our students?
Our focus on student success is not new. Many of us recall a previous president on a previous fall opening day.
Once again, if we want student success, we've got to make sure that we're planning for it.
8 years ago, we really kind of adopted the student success agenda. We wanted students to climb that mountain and to be able to be successful. The student success agenda has really morphed into the completion agenda, and I think that is a very positive thing.
So what is this completion agenda? How is it different from what we've known as student success?
I think fundamentally the difference is access versus student success. That for a long time, community colleges have been very focused on students having access to higher education. However, I think we realized that it's equally, if not more important, to make sure students not only have access to higher education, but also have the tools to complete their program, to graduate, to transfer, and to earn a job in the workforce.
In 2010, when we chose to become a part of the Achieving the Dream initiative, one of the key principles is to really dive deep into the data. How do male students do versus female students, older versus younger students, black and white students, Hispanic students, students who are eligible for Pell Grants versus students who don't require a Pell Grant. Look at the data, look at how those students are doing in your top courses, your developmental courses, as well as your college level courses.
I think the piece of it is it's about the right start. Are they prepared to start? Do they have everything they need to start? And then how do we help them to get in that position so that they are ready?
So you could say that community colleges have always introduced higher education to a lot of people. But a lot of those individuals still need an introduction to attending community college. And not everyone needs the same type of introduction.
For every level of student need, we have an identified plan for them. So you take a specific set of courses that are mandatory. You have to receive a C- or higher in those courses before you can move on. Some students who are not at the lowest level, but maybe at the near breaking point of college level versus developmental, we have a fast track program that can enable them to bypass their developmental class if they do the work and retest. For the students squarely in the middle of developmental education, we have a program called On Track. So that students who participate in that, they are ready to succeed when they go into the developmental classes. And for mathematics, students who place into developmental mathematics courses, we offer bridge programs, much like On Track, so that those students will be successful. So there is a path for every type of student.
This was a process that required some reorganization, aligning many of our support services under the Dean of Student Success and Retention.
Whether that's early alert, which is part of student success and retention, counseling and advising services, disability support services, the TRIO student support services program are all a part of student success and retention. So it's just shifting resources to make the most impact.
Improving student success starts prior to enrollment. Using customer relations software and My Degree Path, how we recruit and follow students has fundamentally changed.
Just the fact that we brought financial aid together with our other enrollment service groups was a strong move. But it's more about how well connected we are with students, how we anticipate their needs, how well we communicate to them, that we stay in touch with them, that we affirm that they're doing the right thing along the path. So it's really about us being more engaged and deliberate and intentional with students.
I have to give a lot of credit to the Academic Governing Council. Changes in mandatory orientation are going to have a huge impact. Making the first year experience, College Learning Studies 100, a mandatory course for incoming students, winter of 14, who have less than a 3-point high school GPA, that could have a huge impact on persistence and completion.
There's a core set of experiences that's important for students to have. That's how they grow, that's how they build their capacity to be critical thinkers, build their capacity to develop as both a student and in their future.
Student success is completion. It is retention. And it is part of everyone's job who works at GRCC.
I think it's a good reminder that the business of education is a business of relationships, and that every day we have a chance to come in contact with 10, 20, hundreds of students sometimes even, and how vital those relationships are, both for our well-being as professionals, but also for ensuring student success.
We cannot successfully and significantly move the completion needle until everyone understands that they have a role to play. And whether that is smiling at someone, a student as you're walking down the hallway, getting to know something about someone and asking them about it on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, just knowing that you're a friendly face that someone can turn to and ask for help if needed.
Everyone on campus has an opportunity to make connections with students. Students that maybe never thought they had the wherewithal to come to college and actually complete their associate's degree. We see it happen all the time. They do it. They make it happen. Sometimes when they don't believe it can happen, they learn that it does happen, and there's so many here in terms of at GRCC that believe in them and make a difference in their lives.